Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah finally completes his first multi-year contract extension with tight end TJ Hockenson.
Let's go. And by Minnesota's own Tom Pelissero with the details, we have on a base value $66 million over 4 new years. Cash flow $32 million over 2 years, $48 million over 3. Full guaranteed $29 million at signing, including $9 million left on his rookie deal. Total guarantees $42.5 million, max $68.5 with incentives. And now, of course, signing through 2027. I mean, hey, Kwesi did it. Kwesi's doing it. Signed his
Absolutely.
first long-term extension. Everybody was doubting, but he's doing it.
Absolutely. Now, before these details were released, we all knew about the extension. Multiple
Right.
outlets reported it, but everyone wanted to see the structure. But then the first thing we saw before the actual breakdown here was that 4-year, $68.5 million. And then people start looking at the tight end market. So if we go to the next slide here, Darren Waller technically still is the top paid tight end based on annual average value. And that's the thing. When everybody saw that 4-year, 68.5 million, they broke it down to where TJ would have been making 17.125. That was including, as we saw on the last graphic there, the inclusion of his 5th-year option and the end of his rookie contract. Where if you just take the 4 new years, he slots in at number 2 at that 16.5 number. And again, everyone's looking at this like, oh, he's the second highest paid tight end. Like he's been really good, but we're still waiting for him to take that next step up into the upper echelon of tight ends.
Right.
But that's the thing. Multiple names on this list are going to get extended in the next couple of years. So 3 years down the road, TJ Hockenson will probably be maybe the 5th highest paid tight end
And
in the league.
younger.
Right.
And younger than them all. He's only
Absolutely.
26. Look at this list and look at age. He's at least 2 years. And the people who are arguably better than him, other than Mark Andrews, are in their 30s right now.
Absolutely. So in a couple of years, this is going to look like an absolute steal of a deal for a player like TJ Hockenson. In the 10 games he played with Minnesota, 86 targets, 60 receptions, 519 yards, and 3 touchdowns in big leverage spots, to a couple in that Giants game when we needed every point we could get. So TJ Hockenson was a staple of this team this last season. And here's the thing. And this is the thing with fans, right? As soon as players start asking for more money, and then the rumors came out that he wanted to reset the tight end market, everybody starts talking about, is he worth the money? And that conversation came up a lot. If you look at Vikings Twitter, to where a lot of people said, like, oh, if that's how it's going to be, he doesn't deserve to make that much. Tight end should be making that much money. But if you look at the impact he had on this team, like, I mean, getting him for that number, 16.5 a year, I mean, would it have been better to get him for 15? Of course. I mean, you always want to pay less for good assets, but let's be real. We could tell he wasn't going to play for anything less than what he thought his value was. And like you said, he's still young. He's still just finishing off his rookie contract. He came into this team, made an immediate impact, and he's going to be playing alongside 2 really good receivers in Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, as well as KJ Osborne's there as well. So, I mean, and another big aspect of this, I know SK on Purple and Skol Media says this was his big thing. Like, you don't trade away a 2nd-round pick and then let the guy walk after the following season, right? You needed to get this extension done to make that trade worth it. And
right.
It's like, and it's different. If he came in here and he didn't fit with what we wanted on the team last year, then you're probably good to let him go. But the fact that he came in, he fit in so well with this team. This is why this extension needed to get done. And when I saw the money, was I a little bit like, oh, that's kind of a lot? Sure. But I think he's going to be worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, we knew that. I mean, I knew for a fact he was going to get paid around that much, and he's going to get paid as one of the top tight ends in the league. And because he is, I mean, I think he's arguably, but I think he's definitely top 5 right now. And I think by the end of the season, he'll be top 3, no questions asked. Like I said, he's 26. He was the 10th overall pick in that draft, and he's been really good. And ever since he became a Viking, first off, I want to ask everybody watching a question. Name another player that left a team mid-season to excel as much as TJ Hockenson. You don't see it a lot. You don't see it barely at all. I bet you I've already been thinking about this, and it's hard to even think of a player that comes in and plays as well as TJ Hockenson in the middle of a season with a whole new system,
right? For sure,
and everything. And he played really well, and a whole new quarterback. And now he has the whole offseason, obviously the rest of that season, the whole offseason. Same with the rest of our offense in general under KOC. They had a whole year with him, and now they're going into this season knowing exactly knowing the plays and everything. And TJ Hockenson, I mean, what did he had like 10 catches that first game
Yep.
he came in
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, 10 catches his first game after not knowing the playbook, playing with a whole new offensive coordinator, whole new quarterback. I mean, that's insane. So, I mean, that is so impressive, and had one of the best stretches of his entire career. That's why it's no question in my mind we're about to see the rise of a top 3 tight end in the entire NFL right here at 26 years old. There's a good chance at some point in his career he could be number 1.
Absolutely.
Kelsey's 34 years old. I mean, eventually he's going to slow down. That guy's an absolute stud, but I can see Hawk getting up there, and I think we're going to see that big move, that big step forward this season. So it was crazy to me when a lot of these fans were ready to trade Hockenson already, and they're like, "Oh, don't pay him the money and all that stuff." No. These guys don't grow off trees, man. A guy of this caliber, what other tight ends have we had that's been as good as TJ Hockenson? I don't think probably none.
Right. I mean, we all loved Kyle Rudolph, but he wasn't the same type of athlete.
No, not even close. Not even close. And yeah, we do love Kyle Rudolph, but Kyle Rudolph maybe was a top. I don't know if he ever was a top 5. He's maybe outside looking in.
Right. And you're talking about a guy here. He was the number 8 overall pick in his draft.
That's what it was. Number 8 over. Is it 8 or 10? 8 or 10.
I know he was a top 10 pick, but you're getting a top 10 pick who you got via trade, and that's the funny part we'll get into right after this. And getting him for that number, I think is fine. Like, he's, as you said, he's young enough, and we've seen the upside to where him sniffing, resetting the tight end market and still plopping in at number 2 with the new money, like he's going to end up being worth that at the end of the day. And then you talk about the Lions fans who, and when this all started coming out, they're like, "See, this is why we traded him. We knew this was coming, but you guys are stuck having to pay him." We wanted to pay him. Like, there's a reason that this deal got done. And Kwesi said himself during his press conference, like, he fits the culture here. He fits everything we want from someone who to be in Minnesota. And he said it himself. He wanted to be here, and he's excited. He's excited to be on this team. Him and Kirk have good chemistry. And, now Definitely. You just got to go get JJ done. And this offense is looking awesome for the foreseeable future. And if you really want to start looking at, you look at his number, what we're going to pay Jefferson, that brings in Kirk Cousins. Like, is he going to be back next year? And if they do want to go the route of bringing in a rookie quarterback, having a safety blanket tight end, and as we've seen, young quarterbacks love tight ends that know how to catch the ball. And TJ Hockenson is one of those. He's going to have that safety security blanket in TJ Hockenson, who just seems to have chemistry with whatever quarterback he plays with. Like, I don't know. This is a signing that's going to help this team in the future. And another thing it shows me is this team is dedicated to winning right now. You don't pay a tight end of TJ Hawkinson's caliber this much money to keep him around on a team that's thinking about tanking and resetting. Like,
they're not.
This shows they are all in. They are all in, ready to go. They're paying their players. So,
and even Danielle Hunter's contract, and JJ will be the next one, and hopefully that does happen before the season starts. It's going to happen 100%. Obviously, if we get TJ Hockenson, and I mean, to add that, I mean, that's one thing about, like, everybody's like, "Hey, we got I always want to say Ben Muse. I don't know why. We got Nick Muse, we got Johnny Munt, we got Josh Oliver. Those guys, people say that about our running backs. People say, like, Delvin Cook is, you're going to lose Delvin Cook. You're going to miss him, even though you have Madison, stuff like that. I think the difference between TJ Hockenson and the rest of these tight ends on our team is so massively different. And I think he's so much better. I think you guys don't understand what we actually have in TJ Hockenson, and which is really surprising to me because it was so obvious in the first season he was here. He made such a big impact on this team, especially just being that safety blanket for Kirk Cousins. And now we have him now for the long term. We're going to have Justin Jefferson for the long term. And we have Jordan Addison, who has all the potential in the world on his first year of his rookie deal. So even if we do get a young quarterback coming in next year, I mean, that guy is set up for the future, for the absolute future. So I think that's a huge W in my opinion. He is, I think, what is he considered as far as the rest of the tight ends? Like, where is he sitting as far as the highest paid tight ends? I know you mentioned it earlier.
From average annual value, from his most recent contract, it's 16.5. If you factor, and that's number 2. If you factor in his rookie deal and everything, I believe the total money is the 17.125 million, which was just barely over Darren Waller. But I mean, we're just looking at the new money here. And the contract after this season is up, and that's 16.5, which puts him at number 2.
Yep. And you are banking on his potential. I think you already got a tight end that's really good. And I think if most Viking fans are like me, you're expecting him to even go up another. I mean, he's heading legitly into his prime right now,
Right.
26 years old.
Yep.
He is at the start of it, not in the middle of his prime. He is at the start of his prime. And I don't know, there's going to be big things to come from him. And I think that's a massive signing. So I think that's a big plus for Kwesi. And then all the people who are worried that Kwesi's won't pay this guy. That's why he has to be so worried about all these contracts and not extending all these wrong players so he can keep guys around like a 26-year-old stud tight end that doesn't grow on trees.
Exactly.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped about this one.
Absolutely. So TJ Hockenson gets his contract extension. Let us know your thoughts on this extension down in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time on the GG Sports Podcast.
Skol Vikes.